The description box down below will show you where to go to get this free pattern. This is the template, so I'm going to cut it out and we'll cut it around the outside lines. This technique is called foundation paper piecing, so that's what we're going to do to make this miniature quilt block. So I'm going to show you A because B is exactly the same. We're going to start with A1 and A2. So A2 is right at this top corner and I'm going to fold it over. I need a piece of fabric that's going to fit this part of the heart and then this part of this triangle. So we're going to work from the back. Your first fabric needs to go face up and your next fabric will go face down. This here is the area we're concentrating on in between A2 and A1. And we just need to make sure that we have 1/4 inch excess. And I'm just going to flip this to the back. First fabric is face up. This fabric will be face down if you have a pattern on it. So let's talk about machine setup. So this is my Baby Lock Soprano. I'm not paid nor sponsored to create this video. So my top thread, I have a regular Gutermann polyester thread, and then I'm just going to do a regular straight stitch. I'm going to take it down a couple of notches to a 1.6. The needle is a 9014 Microtex needle, and there is bobbin thread in my bobbin and also the regular sewing foot. So we're going to be following this line here, and sometimes it doesn't quite get in the center, so I'm just going to move that needle slightly and I am going to stitch down. Sometimes I like to backstitch, and once again, so that is the first line done. Okay, so you're going to trim those threads away as you go. Just keep everything tidy. There'll be 2 on the front and 2 on the back. Then you can flip this part out. So you'll notice it'll come alive on the back of the paper what we're doing. So the next one is 3. I'm going to fold this back, and now I'm going to take off 1/4 inch of my fabrics. Go ahead and cut. Then you can line up your next light pink piece of fabric. And then you get to stitch across between A3 and A1. Once you've done that, flip that section out. And then we have this last section of our miniature quilt. We're going to fold it over. Then we're going to take off 1/4 inch from this side. You just line it up next to the folded paper there. And then you're ready to put your other light pink down. Go ahead and sew across. And once again, flip this out. And then that is that. What we get to do now is see what it looks like. So, doing it from this side, we're going to line our ruler up right to the edge of that paper. You don't want to cut the paper off because that is your seam allowance. That is one part of your miniature quilt block. So you do the other side exactly like we did this side. So this is section B, and I'll meet up after that. Now, isn't this just super cute? So now we need to take the papers out, and it shouldn't be too hard. Just gonna tear them away. Do that on both of them. Now you need to take these to the iron and press. The next thing you're going to do is that you're going to put these right sides together and you're going to match these seams. You're going to go to the sewing machine and you're going to sew this 1/4 inch. So double check that when you're sewing, it's going to sew that 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'm going to set my machine to a stitch 30 and put the sewing foot with 1/4 inch guide on. Then you'll open this out and you'll press. I'm so in love with this, it's so cute. I'm going to take this over to sew machine and do a decorative stitch. This was stitch number 59. Now what we're going to do is trim away the excess. Okay, so let's put the binding on. I'm going to have a little bit of excess. I'm going to start right at the end here and just do about 3 kind of stitches here. Now you're going to lift this binding up and then you're going to fold it back onto itself and sew all the way down the mini quilt. Once again, flip this up and flip it back, sew all the way down the mini quilt, flip up and then fold back, then sew all the way down your mini quilt. This is the last corner. You're gonna lift it up and fold it back on itself, and then again you're going to do like 3 stitches here just to hold it into place. I am not going to drive us all back crazy by trying to do a bias binding. It's just too small. So I am going to cut this off and I am going to fold the raw edge of this over a little bit, take it to my iron and press in. So this is the part that we just did. I'm going to have the other part go completely over and we're going to cut that off. So I cut it at about 1.5 inches because don't forget we're going to want to hide this raw seam as well. So go ahead and do that. And you're going to fold one on top of the other, and this is not the correct way of doing a binding. So we're going to sew this all the way down. I'm just doing this because it's small. Now you can have a load of loose threads, take them all off. We're going to get some clips and we're going to start flipping the binding to the other side. Do that all the way around. Now you're going to stitch this all into place. Isn't this the most adorable thing you have ever seen? Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I have over 500 tutorials. Like, comment, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.